Good evening. Tonight, I'm going to tell you another strange and unusual story of the unexplainable which lies behind the veil. Tonight's story is again based on one of those true but utterly unexplainable happenings which occur time and again from country to country and from age to age. George Bosworth was a modern man of his time in every sense of the word, and had his story occurred to another, he very probably would have been the last man in the world to believe a word of it. Hart Bosworth had had a busy day, and now, as the last customer left his shop, he prepared to close for the night. At this same moment, 150 miles at sea, George Bosworth prepared to retire, completely unaware of the incredible events which were about to occur.
Captain! Captain!
What is it, Mr. Bosworth?
Captain, I've got to get back to England immediately.
I'm afraid that's quite impossible, sir.
Oh, please. I'm afraid something's happened.
Are you ill, Mr. Bosworth?
No. Well, yes, maybe. I don't know. I can't explain, Captain, but I must return at once.
Mr. Bosworth, we're 150 miles from Dover, and I have a schedule to maintain. If I were to turn round and go back without good and sufficient reason, I would in all probability lose my position.
But this is an emergency.
There are rules and regulations covering all emergencies at sea. Perhaps if you could tell me why...
Well, I think my brother is... I can't tell you, Captain. It's terribly important.
I'm sorry, Mr. Bosworth, but I can let you off at Ostend. There you can make connections with another ship and be back in England by tomorrow morning.
What time will we dock?
We should be there within the hour.
I pray God, Captain, we're not too late.
Bullet wound through the arc, fired at close range. Man's been shot. He's dead right enough. From the looks of things, nothing has been taken except money. Cash drawers empty. Which leads me to deduce that the motive for the crime was robbery. Got that, Orton?
Yes, sir. I checked the Bosworth house. George isn't there. The place is shut up tight.
That's odd. Him and Art usually close the shop together. Are you sure you heard the shots at 9:45?
Right you are, Chester. 9:45 exactly.
Just a minute, Bertha. A little less familiarity, if you please. This here is official police business, and I'm here in my official capacity. Until I've solved this crime, I'll trouble you to remember that I'm a sergeant in Her Majesty's Constabulary.
Oh, I am sorry. From now on, I'll remember, Chester. Sergeant.
You may proceed, Mrs. Clink.
Well, I'd just put the kettle on. I always makes us a pot of tea in the evenings, just before retiring, as you might say. You know how Alfie likes to get to bed early.
Yes. Get on with it.
Well, I'd no sooner touched the kettle to the stove when I heard the shots. So I said to Alfie, that sounds like shots. And Alfie said no. So I said to Alfie, them was shots. And Alfie said...
Never mind what Alfie said. What did you do?
Well, the only light that was on was in Art Bosworth's shop. So I run down here to see if he'd heard them too. Imagine me horror and surprise to find poor Mr. Bosworth lying there in a pool of blood.
Aha! And whose blood would you say it was?
How long would you estimate this was after you first heard the shots, Mrs. Clink?
Couldn't have been more than 5 or 10 minutes.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Clink. That'll be all.
But I haven't finished.
If you've anything more to say, you can make a statement at the police station.
But I know who done the murder.
Mrs. Clink, you saw the murderer?
Yes, I did.
I see. Now,
Just a minute, Constable. I'll handle this. Now then, Bertha, why didn't you give us this valuable information before this?
I was about to, until I was so rudely interrupted.
Are you insinuating that I was rude?
Sergeant, may I suggest? The murderer?
Huh?
The murderer?
Oh, yes. All right, Mrs. Clink. The name, if you please.
His name is Albert Ketch.
How do you know that, Mrs. Clink?
I saw him. Just as I got outside, I saw him run from this very shop, as though the old devil himself was after him.
Are you sure?
My sight's as good as yours, Chester Wilmore.
Sergeant, shall I round him up?
Why, yes, Constable, do that. And see if you can find out what become of George Bosworth.
Why not ask Mrs. Clink, sir?
I'm sure I don't know, Constable. But why not ask Miss Julie Westcott? She's his fiancée. She ought to know.
I'll do that, Mrs. Clink.
All right now, off with you. Home, all of you, if you please. This here shop will be closed till further notice. Move along, please. Now then, Albert, why don't you confess and save us all a lot of trouble? All nice and tidy, eh?
Because I didn't shoot Art Bosworth, that's why.
Aha! How do you know he was shot?
You told me.
Oh.
What were you doing in the apothecary shop at that time?
Well, I was there to collect a debt what was owed me.
What was the debt for?
Well, you see, I do a bit of carpenter work in my spare time, being handy with my tools, as you might say. And I built a set of shelves for Mr. Bosworth several weeks ago.
And it took you several weeks to get paid?
Well, there was a slight misunderstanding between us, as you might call it.
Aha!
That don't mean I killed him.
What was the cause of this misunderstanding?
While I was building the shelves, a case of his medicines got broke. Bosworth got terrible excited. Claimed I'd done it careless like. Said they was worth more than the shelves and he wouldn't pay me.
And so you killed him?
That's not true. I don't even own a gun.
A likely story. Why, I wouldn't be surprised if you wasn't doing a bit of poaching in your spare time.
Oh, it's a nasty thing to say.
Poaching's a very serious offence. I've a mind to enter charges against you.
Sergeant, this man's being charged with murder, not with poaching.
You hear that, Albert? The constable's right. Murder's the charge. Don't you try to throw us off the track with all this talk about poaching. Now, why don't you be a good fellow and confess and save us all this trouble?
Now, look here, Sergeant. I'd like to help you, really I would. But you know I'm not the kind of man who'd kill a chap in cold blood.
Albert Ketch, you're making it very hard for us. Very well. If you won't cooperate, we'll have to drag it out of you. Start all over again.
George, darling.
What's happened?
Come inside.
Something's happened to Hart, hasn't it?
Sit down.
No, tell me.
Yes, George. Hart is...
Hart's dead. Too late. I'm too late.
George, you were on your way to France. How did you get back so quickly?
I had a feeling something was wrong. Who shot him?
Who told you he was shot?
Do they know who did it?
The police have arrested Albert Ketch.
Albert Ketch? But he didn't do it.
Darling, I know this has been a terrible shock, but you weren't here. How do you know he didn't do it?
Julie, please, take me on trust for now. Albert Ketch had nothing to do with Hart's death.
Darling, you are upset. why don't you lie down for a little while? I'll bring you some tea.
No, please, I've got to convince the police that they're making a mistake. They've no reason to hold Albert.
Darling, you asked me to trust you. I do. You know that. Can't you even tell me how you can be so certain?
Julie, have I ever shown any signs of insanity?
Of course not.
Well, I haven't told you yet how I came back so quickly or why. I never even got to France. Because on the boat I had a vision.
Of what?
The whole thing.
The whole thing?
Yes. I saw the murder being committed.
George, tell me exactly what you thought you saw.
Well, I was washing, getting ready for bed, and when I looked into the basin, I saw the apothecary shop. It was exactly as if I was right there, everything as clear as it is now.
You must have been dreaming.
No, I saw Hart by the shelves. And then I saw the murderer come in and shoot him.
You saw the murderer? Who was it?
I don't know. But it wasn't Albert Ketch, I'm sure of that.
George, you can't tell anybody this.
But I must. Ketch is innocent. Julie, you believe me, don't you?
What difference does it make whether
A great deal of difference to me.
George, I believe you because I love you. But if you tell this story to the police...
No, that's a chance I must take.
That's a chance you must not take.
But they'll hang Ketch.
Listen to me, George. There's nothing you can do. If Ketch is innocent, he has nothing to fear. But you... If you tell this fantastic tale to the police, you'll be ruined.
Julie, a man's life is in danger. How can I think of myself?
Well, then think of me. You know they won't believe you. At best, they'll call you insane. And how will I feel? Hearing people talk behind your back, pretending I don't hear them, whispering?
Julie,
Think
this
of
is not
Hart. You know how he worked to build up the shop. Will you let all his work go for nothing? Well, that's what'll happen. Do you think people will do business with a man who sees things?
I'm sorry, Julie. Whatever anybody thinks, I've got to try.
Very well, George. If you feel you must, I'll go with you.
No, there's no need for you to become involved.
Nothing back there, sir.
Oh. Well, in that case, we'll have to continue our search in here. Ah, Mr. Bosworth, sir. Allow me to offer my condolences in this horrible tragedy.
Thank you, Sergeant. They told me at the police station I'd find you here. May I ask what you're looking for?
Clothes, Mr. Bosworth, clothes.
And have you found any?
Almost. But don't you worry, sir. We have the fiend what done this foul deed.
If you mean Albert Ketch, Sergeant, he didn't do it.
Why do you say that, sir? Well, I ask you again. What makes you so sure that Albert Ketch is innocent?
I can't tell you, Sergeant. You'll just have to take my word for it, but Albert Ketch had nothing to do with it.
That's rather a large order, Mr. Bosworth. Asking us to accept your word without anything to back it up.
Mr. Bosworth, sir. I assume you can prove your whereabouts at the time of the crime?
Well, yes, I can. I was on a boat on my way to France.
Mr. Bosworth, who else besides yourself stands to inherit your brother's estate after his death?
Why, no one. I'm the only... Just what are you driving at?
Now, I'm sure the constable means no offence, sir. But let me fill you in on the facts. We have a high witness what places Albert Ketch at the scene of the crime. He had motive, he had opportunity.
Sergeant, have a look here.
Looks like an O.
It's a bullet hole, I think. Have I your permission to...
Help yourself, Constable.
It's not a small caliber.
As you say, very small.
I'm sure it comes from a derringer.
A derringer? Well, wouldn't that prove that Albert Ketch had nothing to do with it?
Why do you say that?
What would Ketch be doing with a little gun like that?
Mr. Bosworth's right, sir. It's hard to accept the fact that Albert Ketch would be in possession of a derringer. Unless it was deliberately given to him by somebody.
Now look here, Constable.
So you refuse still to tell us why you think Albert Ketch is innocent?
I can't tell you, Sergeant.
I'll submit a possibility to you, Mr. Bosworth. I'll submit it's possible you needed money badly enough to want your brother out of the way. I submit that your insistence on Albert Ketch's innocence may very well be more than just a desire to see justice done.
And what do you have to say to that, Mr. Bosworth?
Nothing. Am I under arrest?
Not as yet, but I shall have to ask you to remain within call.
Evening, Mr. Bosworth.
Oh, good evening, Mrs. Clink.
Alfie and me wishes to convey our sympathy for your bereavement.
Thank you. Shall we sit down for a minute?
Oh, yes, Doc. Thank you. He was a fine man, your brother. A fine man. Always willing to extend credit until tie-dye, and never too proud to step in and have a lift with us. And his scales was honest, too.
Yes, it was a terrible shock to me, Mrs. Clink.
I can well imagine, but never you fear. Albert Ketch shall get what he deserves.
Why is everyone so certain that Ketch is guilty?
Lord bless you. Who else could it be? I saw him myself.
You saw him?
Of course I did. Has nobody told you? That Chester Wilmore. I am the most important witness.
Are there any other witnesses?
Not a one, and no more are needed, I can tell you that. Of course, Miss Westcott might have seen the whole thing. Had she been there 5 minutes earlier.
Julie? What's she got to do with it?
Of course, she might have been killed if she had.
Yeah, but tell me, how does Julie fit into all this?
Well, I'd just stepped out of my house for a breath of air before putting the tea on for Alfie and me, when I sees Miss Westcott going into the apothecary's shop. And it was hardly 5 minutes later when I heard 2 shots. I runs outside, and there goes Albert Ketch tearing down the street. Naturally, I got the police. And it was hardly no time at all before they had him clapped in the pokey.
Julie never said anything about it.
Oh, I dare say she didn't want to worry you. So it's the first time I've ever known her to worry about anyone.
What do you mean by that?
I'm not the one to talk about a body when they're not present to defend theirself. But everyone knows as how Miss Julie Westcott considers herself much better than us common folk.
What are you saying, Mrs. Clink?
It's truth. Ask any of the girls. They'll tell you. Her and her fine talk about position and money and station in life. But she wasn't fooling your brother none. No, sir. She wasn't pulling the wool over his eyes. Oh, you poor boy, I've upset you with me wagging tongue. Alfie always says I talk too much. But don't pay any attention to me. You better get home and get some rest. And I'll be saying good night.
George, darling, I've been frantic. Where have you been?
I've been walking. The police think I'm involved in Hart's death.
George, are they mad? How can they think you had anything to do with it? They have the murderer.
No, they haven't. Ketch is no more guilty than I am.
Will you stop saying that? The police think he's guilty. Isn't that enough?
No. Why are you so intent on seeing him hang?
I'm not. I just don't like seeing you so upset, that's all.
Julie, was there ever any trouble between you and Hart?
Of course not. You know how fond of him I was. Except, well, he thought I was too ambitious, didn't he?
Well, Hart was an old-fashioned man. He thought a woman's place was in the home.
George, you know I only want what's best for you, don't you?
Yes, of course.
A woman needs security, a home, children, a husband she can be proud of.
I know, you've been very patient.
Well, not really, George. There were times during the last 5 years when I wanted to scream. When I wanted to say to Hart, why won't you pay George enough money so we can be married? He's earned it. He deserves it. But that's all over now. We can be married right away, can't we, George?
Well, once a decent interval has gone by.
Darling, we'll be so happy. Mrs. George Bosworth. I can't wait to see my friends' faces when I tell them. They didn't think it would happen, you know, really. They didn't think I knew they were snickering behind my back. As if I couldn't tell what they were thinking. That Julie Westcott, she isn't getting any younger. If George doesn't ask her soon, she may not get any more chances.
Aren't you exaggerating just a little?
Well, perhaps, just a little. Now, promise me you'll think only happy thoughts while I make us some tea.
Julie?
Yes, dear?
About Albert Ketch. I've been thinking perhaps you're right. There really is nothing more I can do. I'll see that he gets a good solicitor, of course.
That's very generous of you, George.
And as soon as I can, I'll put the shop up for sale. And then we'll be married and we'll move to somewhere... What's the matter?
What did you say?
We'll be married as soon as I can sell the shop.
You can't sell it.
Why not? Oh, I know how you feel, but I can't stay here where everything reminds me of Hart.
You don't know how I feel.
Julie, what's the matter with you?
Weren't you listening to me? We live here. Our friends are here. You're an important member of the community, and I'll be your wife, George. They'll respect us.
As long as we're together, what does it matter where we live?
I won't have it. The shop is doing well here. We have money and position. Do you think I want to start again at the bottom? Not knowing anybody, not being anybody? I forbid it.
Julie, you're losing your perspective. I welcome your help, but I must make my own decisions.
Welcome my help? Well, that's funny, George. Without me, there'd be no decision for you to make.
What are you saying?
You've had 5 years to make a decision, but your precious brother stood in the way. Well, I made it for you. He's gone, and I won't let you throw away everything I've worked for. George, listen. I did it. For you, for both of us.
How could you?
Julie. I wanted you. I needed you. Hart stood between us, and I couldn't bear it any longer. But it's all over now, George. He's gone. There's just the two of us. And we'll be happy, George. You'll see. George, don't leave me. Please.
I'm going to find Sergeant Wilmore.
George! George!
And so George, shocked and stunned as few men have had the misfortune to be, did his duty as he saw it. Bereft of brother, fiancé, he still had a life before him. Time would heal these scars, but But would it ever bring to him an understanding of how he could have seen his brother's death? I don't know. Do you? Please join me again for another journey into the world of the unexplainable which lies behind the veil. Good night. Good evening. Tonight, I'm going to tell you another strange and unusual story of the unexplainable which lies behind the veil. All through his history, man has constantly striven to push back the frontiers of knowledge, to discover what lies behind the veil which separates knowledge from ignorance. In my own lifetime, I've seen things come to pass that would be unbelievable to my parents and to my grandparents. Travel through the air, the ability to speak to a friend halfway round the world. Well, if these wonders have occurred in so short a time, just think of what our children and grandchildren will be able to know and understand. Happenings that to us defy explanation will be commonplace and ordinary to them. But whether we understand it or not, the event that we depict in tonight's story was very real. It started with a cry for help, a plea to Almighty God, and following that, to a mortal. To a man referred to by the peasants of a tiny Italian village as Il Dottore.
Preghiamo, Gesù. Vi preghiamo, non più di questo non posso fare. Oh, Madonna Santissima, vedi tu. Salvaci questa bambina e la nostra vita. Non abbiamo altro al mondo. E abbiamo tante di quelle preghiere. Faccia che il dottore venga in tempo, Madonna Santissima, aiutaci tu.
Sì. Sì, cara, ti passerà. La mamma è qui con te, amore. No, no, cara, no. La mamma tu è con te.
Signora, how long has she been like this?
All day off and on.
Has she eaten?
No, she won't take her food. Nothing. Nothing.
Mamma mia, look.
Madame,
choking.
il dottore. Il dottore. Io te quiero. Dottore. Tony. 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 Papà. Tony. Presto. Go to the doctor. Go to the doctor. Presto. Call the doctor.
Oh, what is it, Mama?
It's Francesca. She's worse.
But the truck is broken down and it is 2 miles to the doctor.
You want your sister to die? Do you not have 2 good legs? Stupido! Fava presto! That's all right, then.
There. Now take 2 tonight when you go to bed and 2 in the morning when you get up. Understand? Wait 3 days, and if you don't feel better, come and see me. Ah, that's my son.
He is here. Yes, Signor Angelo is here, Doctor. Signor Angelo. Oh!
How's my Maria?
Oh, fine, fine. Woo! Here, let me help you. Oh.
Angelo, my son, my son. Ah, welcome home.
And how glad I am to be here, Father.
What delayed you? Was your train late?
No. Giuseppe had trouble with the car.
This is the second time this week he's broken down, Doctor. It's too old.
Giuseppe, take those things upstairs. Don't stand here in the draft, Doctor. Take him inside by the fire. I go get something to warm him up.
Ah, my son, it is good to see you home again. You're looking well, but it is a long time, over a year.
I know. And I had a terrible job getting away from the hospital, even now.
So, too many patients already?
Oh, it's not so much that, Father. They are short-handed. They lost 2 surgeons last month, and, well, you know how it is.
Ah, who should know better than I?
How about you?
Oh, go along from day to day, nothing much happening, same as usual.
No, I mean your health. You look tired.
No one gets any younger.
Do you still permit them to bother you as much as ever?
Bother me?
Oh, I know these peasants. Every time they stub a toe, they yell for the doctor, like children. Only worse, in my opinion. There's some excuse for children.
Ah, they are like children. They frighten so easily. But the trouble is, one never knows how serious it may be. A stomachache can be unripe apples or an appendix. A little temperature, a simple cold, or maybe the beginning of a serious fever. But a doctor is rewarded by...
I know the arguments. But seriously, Father, you look far too tired for my liking.
You are absolutely right, Signor Angelo. Some days he's running from morning until night, and it's no good my talking to him. Maybe you can make him see some sense. Or better still, maybe you can stay here and be the doctor.
Well, I don't know about that.
If I'm going to the Venturellis, I better hurry.
You see? Always running, always running.
You have to go out?
Oh, it is not very far.
But on a night like this, can't I go for you?
No, it is for the poor old grandmother, but nothing can be done for her.
Well, in that case, can't you miss just once? Listen to that wind. There's a storm blowing up.
Oh, the poor soul counts on seeing me every evening. If I missed just once, she would have a bad night. She's not too many left. Well, here's to the future.
And here's to that long rest that I'm going to see to it that you have.
Ah, and how are you going to manage that? Come back here and take my place?
And bury myself here in this... I'm sorry, Father. I didn't mean that.
Oh, you're quite right, my son. This is no place for a rising young surgeon.
Well, in the big hospitals, there's much more opportunity. Up-to-date equipment and... you know.
Yes, we have none of that here. But there is one thing here that is just the same.
What is that?
The patients. Whether it is in a big city hospital or a peasant's cottage, the patients are just the same. All a little helpless, a little frightened. Well, I must go.
I wish you didn't have to leave.
Tell you the truth, I wish I didn't too. Giuseppe!
Yes, Doctor.
Time to get started.
I'm ready, Doctor.
Well, I think I have everything here. Though the good God knows that all the equipment in the finest hospitals in the world could not help that poor old woman now. All I can do is to give her a little friendship, a little comfort. Angelo, it is amazing what power those things have. Sometimes I think they do more good than all my pills.
I brought you a present.
Huh?
A new bag. A fitted one with everything in it.
A fitted bag?
But I warn you, you're not going to need it for long.
How is that?
Because you're going to retire. And you're going to come and live with me in the city.
Retire? Leave these people? But, Angelo, they are my children. I could not do that. Why, no. I could never do that.
Now you get back before the storm gets any worse. Don't let them keep you talking.
I'll be back before you know it.
How do you think the doctor looks, Signor Angelo?
He's aging far too quickly for my liking, Maria. I'm worried about him.
Yes, he is tired, and he gets more tired every day. But now that you're here, it's going to be easier for him.
I'm not going to stay, Maria. You've got to help me. I want him to come and live with me in the city. You're the only person that can help me persuade him.
Take him away from here? You can't do that.
Why not?
They wouldn't let you.
Who wouldn't?
The people here, they can't do without him.
Is there so much sickness here, then?
Oh, it isn't only sickness. It's everything. Anything that happens, it's ask the doctor. And he never refuses. Oh, Mamma Mia, who can it be? I'm coming! I'm coming! Are you trying to knock the door down? Tony Bianchi, what do you want?
The doctor. He must come at once.
The doctor is not here.
But he must come.
But how can he come if he's not here, stupido?
What's the matter, Tony?
Buenos Aires, Signor Angelo. It is little Francesca. She is very sick. And Mama has seen it. She will die.
But...
All right, I'll come, Tony. There's a bag with a suitcase. It's a black one. Will you get it for me?
Yes.
But it is the doctor. Mama said...
I am a doctor, too, Tony.
But...
He is very sick.
Where is that Tony? I should have gone myself.
Why doesn't he come? The doctor will come. He always does. Coraggio, coraggio. Dottore. Dottore. Santa Maria. Madre di Dio, salvate la mia bambina.
Be careful, Maria. The doctor says he's hurt.
Now what have you done with yourself?
He's scalded with boiling water.
Let me see.
It is nothing.
Aye, that is bad.
Fix it easily.
Oh. Let me do this for you. You're so careless. You won't be able to use this hand for a while. Giuseppe, go get the doctor's slippers. Come and sit down, Doctor.
Where's Angelo? Upstairs?
No, he went out. Tony Bianchi came for you. Francesca, the little girl, she's sick.
And Angelo went?
Yes.
Did Tony say what was wrong with the child?
No. He just said that she's very sick. But you know how they are. They are always very sick.
Shall I put the car away, Doctor?
No, Giuseppe. Maybe I better go myself and see.
What? You go out again on a night like this and with that hand scalded? Oh.
Did Tony come in the truck?
No, I don't think so.
You mean they walked in a storm like this?
They are both young. Now you stay right there, no nonsense.
I hope he'll be all right.
Of course he'll be all right. He's a doctor, isn't he?
I know, but...
You worry too much. Now you stay right there and rest, and I'll go finish the dinner.
Giuseppe, take the car and go down the road. You may be able to pick them up before they get there.
Yes, Doctor.
In any case, wait and bring Angelo back.
Va bene.
Will he never come? Il dottore.
Il dottore. Dio sia ringraziato, il dottore. Il dottore, Dio sia ringraziato, you've come.
Signor Angelo.
Well, where is the doctor?
I'm a doctor. Where's the child?
What have you done? I told you to bring the doctor. What have you done?
I couldn't help it, Mama. The doctor wasn't there.
My father was out on another call. Tony said it was urgent, so I came instead.
But we need a doctor.
I am a doctor, Signor Bianchi. I can do everything that is needed. Now, where's the child? In there?
Dottore. Dottore, no. Non la tocchi, dottore. Non la tocchi. My baby. My baby.
Just a minute. Let me look at it.
No. You must not touch her.
I'm not going to harm her. The child is very sick. I'll have to be quick if I'm to save her. I'll have to boil these. Put some water on the fire. You heard me? I have to boil these instruments.
What are you going to do with them?
I'm going to operate on the little girl.
No, Signor Angelo. You will not touch. We will wait for the doctor.
Don't you understand how sick your child is?
You will not touch her.
Do as I say. Put that water on the fire. Of all the stubborn fools!
We will wait.
Giuseppe, what are you doing here? Where's my father?
He's sending me with a car to take you back.
Go back and get him. Tell him these fools won't let me operate and it's a matter of life and death. Now hurry! Now will you put that water on?
We wait for the doctor.
There won't be time then. This way they'll be ready for him. Since you're too stubborn to let me help you, pray. Pray that my father gets here in time.
Un miracolo, Madonna Santa, un miracolo. Ti prego. È una nonna che ti prega. Oh! My baby's going to die. My baby's going to die.
Oh, no. Oh, no, Giuseppe. No, non morirà, no. Vede.
Signor Angelo.
Get out.
I say you must not touch her.
I can't wait any longer.
You must not touch her. Stop, you fool.
Your child is dying. 1 minute, 2 minutes, she'll be dead. Do you want her dead? Do you want to kill her?
Il dottore! Dio sia ringraziato. Dottore.
Thank God you've come. Now, will you go? I'll have to be quick. It's diphtheria. Father, you look all in. You better go back with Giuseppe. I'll clean up here. It'll take some time.
She's gonna be all right.
You'll have to see to it that the child has absolute quiet. You understand? Has Giuseppe come back with the car yet?
No, Signor Angelo. Are you not going to wait for the car?
No, it's probably broken down again. I'll be back in a few hours to see how the child is. My father's too tired to come. He's completely worn out. I'll have to come alone. You understand?
Senor Angelo.
Yes?
Many thanks. Doctor.
What's the matter this time, Giuseppe?
It's the car again, Mr. Angelo. I can't start it.
Where's my father?
At the house.
Here you are at last. I saved dinner for you. I hope it hasn't spoiled. How's Francesca?
She's fine. Is father all right?
Yes, he's inside, but where's Giuseppe?
Are you all right, Father? Father?
Huh? Oh, it is you, Angelo.
Are you all right?
Why, yes, I'm all right.
Thank goodness. I was worried about you getting through that storm.
Well, we worried about you, too. Didn't we, Maria?
What happened to your hand?
He scalded it at the Venturellis.
Oh, it is nothing. How is it with the little Francesca?
Oh, she'll be all right. I'm going back to see her later on. What is the matter with these peasants? A child choking to death for lack of a simple tracheotomy, and they wouldn't let me touch her. Thank goodness you showed up when you did. Another minute, and I'd have had to knock out that crazy Bianchi to save his own child's life. And when I saw the car was broken down and you had to come back through that storm, What's the matter?
Didn't Giuseppe bring you back?
No. He never returned to the Bianchis after he took you home. I passed him a mile up the road. Why? What's wrong?
The doctor hasn't been out.
Not been out? You were with me, Father. What's the joke? What is this?
I have been asleep here all the time. Ask Maria.
But we all saw you.
Mr. Angelo, the car. I couldn't get to the doctor as you told me. I hope everything was all right.
A man may well doubt what he sees with his own eyes, but when reliable witnesses give confirmation, it's difficult to disbelieve. The elder Dr. Maccabienti, however, didn't doubt this strange occurrence. He believed in the truth of the statement that he had made to his son. In the treatment of a patient, faith is often more important than medicine. It was enough for the good doctor that whatever the reason, one of his people had been saved. He didn't question, he accepted. Dr. Angelo did not as yet have this understanding. It puzzled and annoyed him to be unable to arrive at a scientific explanation. Well, he never did. But his acceptance by the peasants as the young dottore did bring him around to his father's way of thinking. The glamour of big city medicine gradually lost its power, and he stayed with his father to help what soon became their people. actual happenings as this one, on which tonight's story is based, occur much too frequently to be passed off lightly. Time and again in my research I've encountered reports of cases of this kind which have been thoroughly documented by reliable authorities. The explanation? There is none. At least, not one yet known to us. Please join me again for another journey into the world of the unexplainable that lies behind the veil. Good night. Good evening. Tonight, I'm going to tell you another strange and unusual story of the unexplainable which lies behind the veil. Under powerful emotional stress, the mind and body are capable of strange, almost unbelievable feats. Tonight's story is one such case, taken from a true and documented incident. Edmond Vallier was not a man who loved lightly. When he gave his heart, it was with a deep and abiding passion meant to last for all time.
Marie, what would I do without you?
Edmond, dear, I'm very much afraid you'll have to learn to do just that.
Never.
You see, I'm going to be married.
You're joking.
Oh, you ought to know me better than that by now. I have no sense of humor when it comes to love or money.
But I thought you loved me.
Well, of course I did. But what has that to do with it?
I don't understand.
Edmond, you are sweet, and I'm still very fond of you. But you've become a luxury I simply can't afford.
Who are you going to marry?
Darling, you'll never guess. Not in a million years. I shall soon be the wife of your publisher and employer, Charles Moncourt.
Moncourt, mais pourquoi?
Oh, darling, you know why. He is rich. He can afford to give me all the things I want.
No. No, that I will not allow.
Please don't be tiresome, darling. You know I detest a scene. Besides, I see no reasons why we can't go on being friends.
Friends?
Well, of course. See, I have brought you one might call it a going-away present. You writers are so symbolic. I thought you'd appreciate this. A symbol of the future to commemorate our past. It's a genuine crystal ball. Au revoir, Edmond. Charles will be waiting for me. Oh, darling, as soon as we are settled, you must come and have dinner with us.
One should not destroy a thing of beauty because one despises the giver. No, my friend, we shall find a place for you symbol of the future. Huh? Perhaps she's right. Perhaps in the future I will learn to love, not as well, but much more wisely.
Edmond!
Uncle Andre.
Ah, there you are, my boy. I knocked and knocked and knocked, and no one came, so I walked in myself. Well, what is this? A new acquisition?
A gift, Uncle Andre.
A gift? Uh-huh. Do not tell me who it was from. Let me see if I can guess. Cannot tell the time by it. Birds cannot build their nests on it. Marie.
How did you know that?
Well, it is so like her. Lovely, but quite useless.
Oui.
Ah, I see that you still love her.
I don't know, Uncle Andre. I don't know whether I love her or hate her.
Oh, that is a very bad sign. Let us go indoors, and I will attend to this matter myself, personally. Come, come, come. Hello. Let me have Marie's letters.
How do you know I have any?
Oh, mon cher. A Zavalier and my nephew. You could not possibly fall in love with a woman who did not write long, passionate love letters. And as a writer of sentimental nonsense, undoubtedly you kept them. Now let me have them.
What are you going to do with them, Uncle?
This!
Uncle Andre!
Edmond! Oh. As a seasoned campaigner in the game of love, I am going to give you some very sound advice. And as a well-brought-up young man, you will do me the courtesy of listening.
Very well, mon oncle.
First of all, you must know that a love affair is gay, joyous. When it is over, finish. Oh, one does not cling to it as a miser to his gold.
Perhaps you're right.
Perhaps, but it is of a certainty. This advice I give you is the most valuable. Furthermore, the only cure for a love affair is still another love affair.
Oh, Uncle.
In this matter, how lucky you are to have me as your uncle. You have heard, no doubt, of my little black book. Oh, you should have. It is well known in Paris. Perhaps as famous as the Arc de Triomphe and the Champs-Élysées.
Uncle Andre.
I have an engagement this evening with a most enchanting creature, a dancer at the Moulin Rouge. You will dine with us, and we will see if she has a friend.
Uncle Andre, I know that you're trying to be helpful, and I thank you. But I must try to get some work done.
It goes hard, eh?
Oh, it does not go at all.
Ah, well, perhaps work may be the answer, but I doubt it. But remember, in any case, your Uncle Andre has the right solution.
I will remember.
I go now. My engagement begins at 8 o'clock. I will drop in to see you again, and I hope to see an entirely different attitude.
Au revoir, mon oncle.
My dear Edmond, My presses cannot remain idle while I wait for my writers to write, you know.
I've tried, Charles. If he doesn't come, he doesn't come.
Nonsense. You have written many love stories before and written them well. Surely you must have been in love.
Of course he was. Edmond was in love with me.
You see, Edmond, what man has not envied me? I am sure you must have been in love with Marie, but she not with you. That is the great difference. Every man would like to believe that he has won for himself the one woman that every other man would be proud to call his wife. See, there is a subject for another great love story. It is so simple.
I'll try, Charles.
Good. Tomorrow morning I leave for London and then Amsterdam. There shall be English and Dutch editions of your last 2 books. And while I am gone, you will visit Marie.
But,
Don't you wish to visit me, Edmond?
Oh, I do. But there's my new book.
You have always been entertaining for our Marie. She is fond of you, and I don't want her to be lonesome.
It will be such fun having you over for tea, Edmond.
You will visit Marie. That also is part of our agreement.
Edmond is a very sensible and agreeable young man. He will do exactly as he is told.
Splendid. 2 weeks, and I shall return with contracts. And money, Edmund. Money.
Madame?
Shall we dine here tonight, or is it the gay life for you?
The gay life, always. But tomorrow, Philippe.
Why not tonight?
You tire of me if I make my visits too long. Besides, you know I have to be at home.
I'll never tire of you, Marie. What's wrong?
I have a strange feeling, as if someone were staring at me.
I'm staring at you. You're very beautiful, Marie.
I'm serious, Philippe.
So am I. There is nothing to fear, my darling, except the swiftness of time until he returns. May that day never come.
But you look terrible. I presume this means you have been working?
I've been trying to work, if that means anything.
And what have you accomplished?
Frankly, very little.
Ah. I see you have not forgotten her.
I think about her, Uncle. In fact, I've been ordered to think about her. Moncourt's gone out of town on business. He asks me, mind you, if I wouldn't mind dropping in on her occasionally so she would not be lonesome. That fool! He knows I was once in love with Marie.
Ah, then he is not a fool. On the contrary, he is very intelligent.
Well, if I can find the time, I'll drop by.
I disapprove. But I'm afraid you will find the time. Edmund, my boy, you must forget this woman. Let me get rid of this silly thing.
No! I'm sorry, Uncle Andre. I didn't mean to shout at you.
It is nothing, my boy. Here. Sit down. Edmond, this is not good. Never have I seen you in such a state. Oh, overwork, unrequited love. These reasons are not good enough to explain it. Now, what is the real reason?
I cannot tell you.
Oh, cannot tell me. Since when have there been things we cannot tell each other? You and I. Out with it, boy.
Uncle Andre. Uncle Andre, I fear I'm going out of my mind.
Evalier may gamble too much, drink too much, chase too many women, if that is possible. But to go insane? Ha, never.
Uncle Andre, listen to me. I see things.
What sort of things? Where?
In that crystal ball. I can see Marie, wherever she is.
Do you really think you are going out of your mind?
It's so clear. I can see wherever she goes. I can even see whom she is with.
Whom she is with? Not her husband?
No, he's not back yet.
Oh, Edmund, I am disappointed. You are jealous. You sit here, clutching the ashes of a burned-out love, tormenting yourself with this jealousy.
Uncle Andre, it's nothing like that at all.
Then I say to you, the rest of it is nonsense. Oh, Edmund, I have the solution. Come with me tonight. Let the perfume of Paris sweep away these cobwebs from your brain.
Thank you, Uncle Andre, but I cannot.
Now I lose my patience. And why is it you cannot?
There are so many things to do.
Then do one thing for me, I ask you. You say you know where Marie is, then go there and see if she is there, or go to her house and see if she is not there. If you are going out of your mind, at least let us find out in time to do something about it.
Thank you very much.
Good morning.
Charles.
Edmund. Well, this time I can see you have truly been working.
Yes, but you've come back early.
Almost a week. And with wonderful news, Edmund. Contracts in London and Amsterdam were signed. And I have promised them at least 2 more new books by you.
Thank you, Charles.
You don't sound very enthusiastic.
Oh, I'm very grateful.
But I stopped here to tell you the good news even before I went home.
I've been working very hard.
No time for frivolity, huh?
No.
But you did have time to visit Marie.
I tried to, but I've been very busy.
Busy? But too busy for a friend?
You can see for yourself, Charles. I've hardly had time to leave this study.
Oh, but I asked you to.
I'm sure Marie did not miss my visits.
Now, what do you mean by that?
Nothing. It's just that I've been working very hard. Now, you approve of that, don't you?
Yes, but one visit you might have made.
All right, I did.
Then why do you say you did not?
She was not home.
Not home? Where would she go?
In heaven's name, mon coeur, how do I know what your wife does when she's not home? I told you. I stopped by and she was out.
Oh. For a ride, perhaps.
Perhaps?
Edmond, is there something wrong?
No. It's just that I've been working very hard.
But you said that before. There is something on your mind. What is it?
Nothing, Charles. Can we discuss London or Amsterdam?
Is there something I ought to know? I am an old friend, Edmond. I deserve an answer.
You know all there is, Charles.
No. There is something about Marie that you won't tell me.
She hasn't left you, if that's what you mean. She's been home every day.
First you say you did not visit her. Then you say you did. Now you say you know she is home every day. How do you know?
Leave me alone, Charles. Stop asking me questions I cannot answer.
It becomes clearer. There was time for frivolity. And what you cannot bring yourself to say is that Marie has found another man. And that man is you.
No. It's not me.
I give you fair warning, Vallier. I shall ask Marie. And if what I suspect is true, I will kill you.
Good morning, my love. I thought you never cared here.
Oh. I'm running out of lies to the maid.
Surely no one suspects. And that feeling of yours, does it still haunt you?
Philippe, I don't know. I just don't know. After today, I don't think I should see you again.
But, darling, we have an entire week.
Even this morning, on my way from the station, as if eyes were following me.
Yes, of course. You are very beautiful, Marie. Why should not all the eyes of Paris be staring at you? Darling.
Vallier! Vallier!
Vallier! Where is she? I warned you, Vallier. Where is she?
Charles, she's not here.
You lie. First you besmirch my name, then you make a fool out of me. Where is she?
Charles, I have not talked to Marie since the day you left. You and I were friends, long before either of us ever met Marie. Will you not take my word that I am not involved with her?
No, I will not. You know more than you will admit. If you were my friend, you would tell me what you know. Where does she go?
Very well, Charles. I would spare you if I could, but every day, Marie goes to Paris and meets a man.
Who is this man?
I do not know his name. I know where he lives. He's an artist, a painter of beautiful women.
How do you know all this?
I have watched them every day since you left.
You are a vicious liar. I was a fool to think that I could trust you. I met your Uncle Andre in Paris, and he told me that you have not left this house in days.
That is true. Nevertheless, I have seen them.
You are not even a good liar, Vallier. Do you think I would believe anything you say?
This has gone far enough. Charles, you want proof?
Yes.
Very well. I'll give you proof. There.
There what?
Your proof.
What am I supposed to see?
Marie and that painter. Are you blind? She has on a gray dress with the lace at her throat and on the cuffs. Don't you see her?
Edmund, there is nothing but a crystal ball. Or is this another one of your tricks?
Charles, what's happening to me?
I don't know. Either you are a very good actor or... I don't know.
Very well. We'll find out which.
Where are you going?
To Paris. Either Marie is with this man right now, or you'd better have me committed to an asylum. Oh, forgive us, mademoiselle. We've come to the wrong place.
Edmond, let me take you home. You are not well. I should have realized.
They're here. I know they're here.
One final chapter remained after the door closed behind Charles Moncourt. Based on Edmond Vallier's testimony of what he had seen in the crystal ball, Moncourt was granted a divorce, the only time that evidence of this kind has ever been accepted in a court of law. But although his testimony was accepted, there has never been an explanation as to how happenings of this kind occur. Please join me again for another journey into the world of the unexplainable which lies behind the veil. Good night.